Hi, Matt.
Hey, Carlos. Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for doing this video. Here today to talk about Maya calendar astrology, even though astrology isn't the right word, because astrology means, studying the stars. What we're really studying here is the flow of the days. So it's not quite dependent upon any star besides the sun to know what day it is, right? So another crucial difference is that we're using Mayan calendar cycles of 260 days and 360 days, and I have two separate charts. This one is for a 260 day cycle, and this other one is for 360 day cycle.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with the 260 day cycle. And what was your birthday again?
That would be July 10th, 1965.
1965. Okay. Now, I've already looked up the day, and it is 2 water. I call that day parting the waters. All right, the number 2 comes from the 13-day cycle. Of course, the way the Maya would write numbers, and I got a sample of their ancient calendar here. This is the Dresden Codex, one of the few surviving books of the Maya, and you can see it's just filled with their numbers, which are this bar and dot configuration there, and the bar is 5, the little dots, so you count up to 4, and then the lines are 5, and then another dot's on top of that line, and then once you get up to 10, then you draw another line, so you have 2 lines, and then 11 is a dot on top of that, etc.
Okay.
So this was one of their fold-out books called Codices, and they wrote on both sides of the book, and they kept track of all kinds of cycles. I mean, it is astrology in a way, because they certainly were studying the stars, but they used their count of days as the primary source. It wasn't that they looked at the sky and counted the stars, that they had the system. The way it works is that we have 20 digits, fingers and toes, and those are the 20 glyphs. And we have 13 major joints in our body, the 2 ankles, knees, hips, wrists, elbows, shoulders, and your neck is 13. So your birthday just happens to fall on 2, which is like yin yang duality, light dark, and 12, which means water, but it also represents it means the word to pay, like a payment, money, or just to be thankful. It's a day of being thankful for and showing gratitude for all that life has offered you. The thing to understand about the Maya calendar is that everything is a metaphor. It's like a science of metaphor. A metaphor is not an exact thing. In science, we tend to think of it as being, where do all the numbers add up, everything correctly, and everything makes sense. But yet, this is a science of metaphor. So we have to understand the metaphors and be able to look at our lives to see to find that meaning of metaphor for us personally. And it's always going to be there for the whole universe as we go through each of these days on Earth here. For you, I have to ask you, how do you feel about the sign of water and being thankful? And
Well, water is very much a big part of my life, and when I'm in my biggest joys is when I'm thankful for what I have, not trying to gain more. When I sit back and I'm thankful with what I already have, that's when I can relax into being happy.
okay. Now the water also represents our emotions. So you seem to have kind of a yin-yang thing going on with your emotions. Like sometimes it's dark and sometimes it's light.
That is very true. Always has been.
So some of the other signs we're going to look at, we have, it's as if you're holding a paper like this, the right side and the left side here.
Okay.
The right side is masculine and the left side is feminine. So I'm going to count days, and I'll use this book here, which is Mayan calendar conversion chart book.
Okay.
I got this at the Guatemala City Airport. My friend Don Alejandro Oxlack, the grand elder of all the Maya, carries a very similar book to this that
Wow.
was created by the Mayan Council of Elders. And 8 Eagle, which is today's date. Changed
That's
it
just
in,
how things happen.
That's on your masculine side here. We did have that ceremony here on your birthday that was 2 water.
Mm-hmm. And now
Last
having the
week.
reading.
Now we're having a reading on 8 Eagle. You also have a past called Karmic Day, which is actually the day that you were conceived on.
Okay.
So, and that day is 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 crocodile. The 8 eagle is actually on your feminine side here.
Okay.
So you have intuition as far as acquiring abundance, right? The number 8 is a very strong number because the numbers go from 1 through 13. 7 would be in the middle. 8 would be like the tipping point to the stronger, higher energies
Okay.
days. So it's a number that represents strength in there. So you have very strong visionary, just being able to see what's coming over the horizon, and yet having an eye for all the details on the ground. And that's the eagle days are the days to send prayers to heaven for abundance. Just ask that all your needs be met. That it's a good day to ask for a raise, money, do something, you know, to increase your income and prosperity. And since you have that water element of being thankful and that payday energy, anyway, you have that in your intuition as far with that eagle energy to see that there's a need and it needs to be filled, and graciously apply your whatever means you have available to fill a need. And the masculine side, 9 house, that is just like a lighthouse. The number 9 represents interconnectedness of all things, and just kind of seeing everything in light energy. Is kind of a Christ consciousness kind of energy, but applied to the house. And also the other word that we use for that day is night, at nighttime. So it's just like a lighthouse, and you're guiding light, a beacon for people to see and to be able to find their way home through the rocks, I guess. Remember, it's all a metaphor.
Oh, it's all metaphor.
So that's on your masculine side. That ability to be a guide, to be it's a day of dreaming the future, so you just provide a good outlook for people to be able to see their way through the fog. And to have a strong house, that your house is a place of light energy for people to come and soak up that light energy. So looking back at your past days here, the crocodile is manifestation. It's Imish is the word, and that's the first day of the 20 days cycle. So on a 7 crocodile, you got things pretty much in balance. It's like a seesaw, literally the way that you draw the number 7 with the Mayan numbers. It's kind of like a seesaw. It's not a balance scale and balance right there. So this is the nourishing sign, just like the hard dirt of the earth where you plant the seeds is nourishing. And so for that to be number 7, it's kind of like you're always getting something started. You had to deal with this energy when you were young. This is because it's your past karma. That's what you came in here to the earth on this life with all this energy, and that's represented in that 7 crocodiles. So probably getting a lot of things started, not necessarily finishing all of them, but getting projects started. Maybe somebody else finishes it, or maybe it just doesn't get done, but you're getting a lot of things started, a lot of new ideas. And it's a day of hypnotists just have this natural ability to kind of meditate. Like if you lost your keys, okay, just meditate for a while. Oh, there they are. And you just see it in your mind, what it is, or something from long ago was missing, and then you're like, oh, where is it? And you can just kind of see it in your mind's eye. Try to find it again and bring things back. And also how to influence others. You know, you can plant a suggestion. You're good at planting suggestions in people's minds. Well, why don't you try this, or that, or just subtly get things started, initiate things.
Me.
Well, not necessarily. It might have been your parents or the relatives when you were growing up. One eagle. Okay, that eagle energy was on your masculine side before.
And it was one.
It was one eagle. The second Iraq War in 2003 started on a one eagle day. The shock and awe, push thing, getting the war started, and so there's a lot of aggression in that eagle sign for instance, one eagle. It's like a baby eagle. It's like really ready to fly, but it's not really big enough yet. It's just making noise. But it's really opening up a pathway in the future there on that day. Like the eagle's just getting started to fly out in this journey. So it's just opening up a new pathway with that energy to the new vision to see that. So that was on like your father's, grandfather's, uncles, masculine.
My father was a major in the Air Force.
Air Force, major in the Air Force. That's pretty much a great representation of that one eagle right there. Energy. So
Died when I was 3,
but
he was a doctor and a major in the Air Force.
Cool, very cool. So
Hopefully you don't have psychotic. That could have been
well, we have 13 deer on the karmic feminine energy, and that is the day of Bill Hicks was born on. So maybe your mom was kind of like Bill Hicks, a consummate truth teller.
Could be. Just don't know whose truth it would have been.
Well,
and she was very honest.
It's a cosmic compassion that's the truth is more important than just making somebody feel good. You can be compassionate and lie to somebody if you don't want to hurt their feelings and don't want to bother them.
At the same time, then they won't make the change.
They won't make the change, right? But so the cosmic deer kind of sees things from this big astral perspective and has that heart of compassion to say, okay, this needs to change, and they're going to be kind of ruthless about it if that's what it takes to make the change happen. But it is a very heartfelt, compassionate, at one with nature. But in this case, with number 13, it's very, very cosmic. Think about astral projection, really being up there with the stars, having your psychic antenna attuned to the cosmos up there.
That might be my grandma.
Well, yeah, anything past feminine side of there.
She was a gypsy shaman closest to Venezuela. So.
There you go, that would be good. Deer energy there. So now we're going to look towards the future. So, 10 earthquake. No. So the number 10 is, like I said, 2 lines. So it's about manifestation. And number 5 is like looking at a higher plane, and then you get to number 9 is like light energy and interconnectedness of things. And so with that light energy, something manifests, and it's like but it's a shadow side, so it's a darker kind of energy. But you have to take the light and the dark, especially since you have that two line and there's you balance the dark. So this is thinking, thinking good thoughts, thinking bad thoughts, just a lot of thinking here. So just a few days before your 52nd birthday, probably about 8 days, you're going to take on this new energy, a 10 earthquake. And it just happens that right before your 52nd solar year, solar calendar, it almost lines up with a Silken round. So your 2 water day is going to come probably 13 days before your solar 52nd birthday. And then if you add a few more days to that, it gets a little closer on that 10 earthquake day. So that's why we use that 10 earthquake to say that this is your new status after at your 52nd solar birthday.
So it will be a time of keep it bright thoughts.
Well, your mind is just going to be active, whatever. Yeah.
I don't see you getting Alzheimer's now.
You're going to be manifesting a lot of thoughts as you get older, and being at one with the vibrations of the earth. Now, the crocodile we talk about is the nourishment of the soil. This is the vibrations of the earth, the Schumann resonance, like going around the earth, creating that resonance. So different levels of the earth from the core to the magma to the surface to the atmosphere. And your thinking is going to stay in harmony with the earth. And so that's why you're going to be just getting a lot of new thoughts coming up all the time. So this house energy is going into your feminine side here. So we're in this corner here now. Future.
It's a 3 house.
So yes, 3 house. So I see a mobile home. You're gonna take your house on the road, probably, in some form or another. Maybe you'll have this house as your home base, but then you'll be doing some traveling around and call other places home on the road, or maybe just some kind of shifting going on here, whatever. I don't know how that's going to manifest, but I just know that number 3 is motion, putting things in the motion. So maybe putting that your future ideas into motion, because you're good at seeing the future right now. That's kind of like your job on your masculine side. You think about the future. You think about how you see it the way that things should be, and you try to make those connections to that. So in the future, you're gonna activate that part of yourself, and you're really gonna be putting these ideas about your home in the future into motion. So we have one more day to look at. For monkey. We just passed the 4 monkey day.
So I'll be happier go luckier.
Trying to remember what happened on the 4 monkey day. It was it's time traveling day. Again, number 4 is the 4 directions. Right, so you're going to be making the connections, the threads. Monkey is the weaver of time, and so I remember that day. Went to a sweat lodge, and it was supposed to start right at sundown, but it kept on dragging out hours and hours before they got even the fire started for the sweat lodge. And so by the time we got out of there, it was 3 in the morning already. So like the time just kind of stretched a little more than it was, plus with daylight savings time and all. So you're going to be able to really stretch out time when you're in the future here. It's going to be time as we know it in modern Western civilization. And it's very rigid, and everything's got to be on time, on schedule, and we want things faster and more convenient. And in our efforts to create things and make things easier for us. We just have more stuff to clutter up everything, so we just have to find a new way to travel through time, make things happen faster, slower, and it's really going up to that higher perspective of things in the fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth dimensions, however many dimensions we can go, that will allow us to travel through time so that we're not stuck on this three-dimensional clock that just keeps ticking by endlessly. There, we're going to have more ways to travel through time, and it's going to involve higher dimensions a lot there. So, any questions about that so far?
No, I can honestly say it's been interesting because you and I have not had deep talks of what is me and things like that. You hit it very easily. I could see this being my future, as time is a major issue with me. I've been known to stretch time, and even at this level, I've stretched time and things like that. When it comes to the other pieces, like you're saying, this is the soil and this is the water. Those are the two biggest components of my life right now.
Soil and water.
It is the soil and the water. I mean, that's what makes the greens. That's what my passion is in there. And then when you spoke about how I have the vision and be able to see things, and sometimes I get things like 10 projects started and none of them finished. And they're all incredible projects. It's just
have to learn to delegate better to.
That's something that
get things started.
This,
you finish this.
This may be what that's all about.
The earthquake.
The 10 earthquake is learning how to either let go of projects that I've started, so other people can take it further.
Yeah. Well, and also that monkey being able to tie things together.
Finish the ends, tie the ends back together.
Keep it all coming together at the same time, and you'll find the pattern, you'll find the rhythm with that monkey energy. You know, you'll find that groove that you need to get in to make things complete. And you also, just any time that it hits any of these days, whatever the number.
It's going to be a day for
you know, anytime that it's an eagle day, you've got that in your chart. So you're gonna learn to work with that energies better. And the earthquake, of course, as you get up there, you're gonna get better at that. And the karmic stuff here, that stuff that you worked past, you know, that's in your past.
What I'm working
where you come
past
from.
Everything.
But you'll integrate that all in with your future days in there. But any of these days that are on here, you'll resonate with. Every 20 days as they go around, you know, you start to see them. Of course, the numbers will all be different, which just means it's a degree of this or that.
This or that. And when it hits the day and the number, that'll probably be a pretty big day.
But any water day, whatever the number is, that's still going to be your special kind of day. But you'll resonate, like, you know, the number 6 is definitely a lower energy kind of number. So when you get like 6 waters, you're going to feel like, oh, I just need to rest, heal, and things like that. So you get to know the rest of the numbers, what they mean for all
And
that
today
too.
is what?
8 eagles. So today is on your chart.
Today is on my chart.
Yeah, it's on your mass.
Yes, it is.
Feminine.
On the feminine side. Okay.
So, yeah, we just had this
We just
intuition that this would be the day.
had, this is the right day.
So July, what was it again?
10th?
10th. I have 2 kind of circles. The inner circle here shows you how to count in the 20 days cycle. You go around 20 days. So the number goes, if you start on number 2, the next 20 days is 9. 20 days after that is 3. These are all what the sign of water.
Right.
Water, 2 water, 9 water, 3 water, 10 water, 4 water, 11, 5, 12, 6, 13, 7, 1, 8, back to 2. Yeah, that keeps going on as you count 20-day cycle. So to get from 2 to 3 is a 40 day.
40 days. 40 days to get 2 hours.
Yeah. To go from 2 to 3. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 4, 3 to 4. But where we had heard about 40 days before. Right?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
So
No, many
and
things.
Jesus going out to the desert for 40 days.
40 days.
40 days that's a big representation there. That 40 days of doing anything is going to be a big growth step for you. So